Looking for great questions? Here is the YouTube channel for you. Tips on inverse of exponential functions. Welcome to our YouTube channel where we discuss questions which students really need to understand and answer. Here is a thinking question based on how do we find inverse of an exponential function? As you know, logarithms are inverse of exponential function. So, given an exponential equation, we have to get that log form. The question is from past test paper, and I hope its solution will help many students who are looking forward for advanced level of mathematics. We need to find inverse of the function 3e to the power of 2x. First, we'll understand few concepts, then we'll begin with the solution. So if I try to sketch this particular function, how will it look like? E to the power of 2x is always positive, always increasing, and 3 times will be kind of like this, right? Of course, when x is equal to 0, the point here will be 3, correct? So that could be one of our key points. To find the inverse means that we are going to graphically, if we were trying to figure it out, we would have reflected this on the line y equals to x. And we would have got our result, which could be kind of like this, right? So that could have been our graphical solution. Now let's figure out how do we find algebraically. I hope it's making sense. Well, in case you want to learn directly from me, send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. In just few classes, you can be an expert on subjects like advanced functions and calculus. Right, so now let's follow the standard method of finding inverse. So we are given that function means f of x, or we can write y is equal to 3e to the power of 2x. First step to find the inverse is to swap x and y. So we are going to write this as x equals to 3 times e to the power of 2y. And then we can isolate what y is. Now at this stage, I'll also like you to look into domain and range of the function. So remember one thing, that as far as the function is concerned, the domain here is x belongs to real numbers, right? So in the first case, we have domain as x belongs to real numbers, right? And the range is that y is greater than 0. Of course, they are real numbers, right? So y also belongs to real numbers. Now, when you swap, the domain and range also swaps, and so for the inverse, now when you find the inverse, for inverse, what is the scenario? Domain now becomes x greater than 0, where x belongs to real numbers, right? And the range is y belongs to real numbers. Y belongs to all real numbers, correct? So no restriction on the y value. However, the domain will have a restriction. As you can see, we have a vertical asymptote here at x equals to 0. So there is a restriction on domain. It makes sense, right? Correct. So let's now move forward. This was an essential step I thought I'll focus on before moving algebraic solution. So let's now continue with our equation, which is x equals to 3 times e to the power of 2y. Idea is to get the value of y. So we'll take log both sides. Whenever you are working on e, take log to the base e, which is natural log ln. So we get ln x equals to ln 3 e to the power of 2y. So we have ln x equals to, apply the properties of logarithms, right? So we can, because this is a product, we can write this as ln 3 plus ln e to the power of 2y. So ln x, ln 3 we can take on the left side, which is a constant, or we can take it later. So I'll write it now. Minus ln 3 equals to ln e to the power of 2y, right? So ln x minus ln 3 is ln x over 3, right? Let me write like this. Now, ln e to the power of 2y means 2y times ln e. Ln e is what? So we get ln x over 3 equals to 2y. Since ln is 1, right? So you see our solution now? We can now isolate y and write down y as equal to half of ln x over 3. Do you see that part? So that is how we can rewrite final answer as ln x over 3 to the power of half. Correct? Which means square root basically. Correct? So you can rewrite this as y equals to ln square root of x over 3. So that becomes your inverse function. So now we'll write in function notation f inverse of x is equal to ln square root of x over 3. Perfect. So that is how we actually get the inverse of the function. And as you can see here, the domain of this inverse function is that x has to be greater than 0 and the range will be y is all real numbers, right? So we get this inverse function equation right there. I hope the steps are absolutely clear. Feel free to explore our playlist with many thinking and application questions. They will make a huge difference in your marks and admission to the best universities. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, be great. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best.